Well, hello, everyone. It's Peter Schiff. It's Friday, February 19th, 2000. First of all, we got a rate hike from the Federal Reserve after the market closed yesterday. The Fed raised the discount rate 25 basis points from 0.5% or 50 basis points to 0.75% or 75 basis points. The Fed funds rate was not changed. That's still 0 to 25 basis points. Now, a lot of people are interpreting this as being a bold move. The Fed is getting aggressive. They're starting to tighten. This is all nonsense. I mean, the Fed is not getting aggressive at all. This interest rate hike is too little, too late. Rates are much too low. If the Fed really was concerned about the damage its reckless monetary policy was doing to the economy or the inflation that they're unleashing, they wouldn't be raising by 25 basis points. They would be raising by several hundred basis points. They never would have cut interest rates this low in the first place. I mean, if you want to say that monetary policy today with a Fed funds rate, or rather a discount rate of 75 basis points, is slightly less horrific than it was 2 days ago at 50 basis points, I guess I would have to agree with that statement. But the difference is so minute that it doesn't even matter. Now, maybe this is going to be the beginning of more substantial rate hikes in the future. I tend to doubt it. But either way, it's too little too late. Remember that when the Fed finally started raising interest rates after keeping the discount rate at 1% for 2 years, they did it in quarter-point increments, and it took them a couple of years to get interest rates back closer to a normal level. But of course, during that time, everybody was going out, taking out adjustable rate mortgages and leveraging up, and the real estate bubble was inflating because the Fed acted too timidly, because they only raised interest rates by 25 basis points at a time, which is what they're doing now. Although I don't believe that this rate hike is going to signal that every time the Fed meets that they're going to just start jacking interest rates up 25 basis points. I don't think they're going to do that. They should be doing that. In fact, they should be doing it a lot quicker because interest rates are still much too low. It's cheap money that is damaging the economy, that is undermining the long-term fundamentals, that is causing our economic imbalances to widen rather than allowing them to be reined in. Also, some people are talking about the fact that maybe these rate hikes show that the economy is improving, and so the Fed is able to raise rates. I couldn't disagree more. I don't think the economy is improving. I think it's getting worse. Yes, we're spending a little bit more borrowed money, but we're simply digging our way into a deeper ditch. I think maybe the Fed raised interest rates just a little bit to try to buy some credibility. Obviously, whether the Fed funds or the discount rate is 75 basis points or 50 basis points, it hardly makes a difference. But maybe the symbolism is going to help. Maybe the Fed saw oil prices rising back towards $80 a barrel, wanted to try to maintain some kind of bid in the dollar because maybe they thought the dollar rally was running out of steam. So they're doing what they can to try to talk, to try to do something might indicate that they're actually serious about raising interest rates or fighting inflation, or to let people believe that they think the economy is out of the woods, even though none of that can be true, or none of that is further from the truth. Anyway, also I happened to watch President Obama give a speech today from Las Vegas. And first of all, he was on the defensive when he got to Vegas because he had made a speech in which he had said that, the economy is in bad shape, and so people need to save their money. They shouldn't be blowing money on trips to Vegas. And he got a lot of hit because obviously Las Vegas benefits from the fact that tourists come over there and gamble money and spend money and lose money. And the fact of the matter is, what President Obama is saying, of course, is true. Of course, his policies contradict that. But the fact of the matter is, we shouldn't be going to Las Vegas because we're broke. People need to stay home. People need to save their money. They can't afford to take expensive vacations and gamble their money away. They need to save. Now, I know that might be negative for Las Vegas, but you know what? Sometimes life isn't fair. Things are going to have to change in Las Vegas. I mean, maybe they can find a way to get more tourists in from Asia. After all, they've got savings. They can afford to blow them, in a casino. They can afford the vacations. But most Americans are broke. The problem is Las Vegas has expanded too much. It's grown to service the entertainment industry that really the country can't support because their potential customers are broke. They're loaded up with debt. They don't have savings. They can't afford to go to Vegas anymore. So Vegas has to change. Maybe some of the people that are working in casinos are going to have to find other employment in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is going to have to do different things. We can't try to encourage Americans to take vacations they can't afford, to gamble and make money they don't have, just so we can maintain jobs in the Vegas service sector. If those jobs are not viable because the country really doesn't have the wealth to support them, then those workers need to find something more productive to do. Of course, also while Barack Obama was in Vegas, one of the things he said in his speech was he wanted to praise the stimulus. And he wanted to say that there were a lot of people that were, trying to downplay the effectiveness of the stimulus, but he said they're entitled to their own opinions, but not their own facts. And then he said it was a fact that the stimulus created jobs. And here's how Barack Obama backed up his fact. He said that his economists are telling him that the stimulus created 2 million jobs. That means it's a fact because some economists claim that the stimulus created jobs. That has the same connotation as an actual fact. Who cares what economists say? Especially Barack Obama's economists. They're all a bunch of politicians. They're going to say whatever they want. Remember, these are the same economists that told us how great things were right before the economy collapsed. They're the same economists who said there was no real estate bubble. What was that a fact? Obviously it wasn't, so neither are these crazy statements that the stimulus created or saved jobs. It didn't. It likely destroyed more jobs than it theoretically created, which means it didn't create any jobs. It simply replaced less efficient jobs. It replaced more efficient jobs with less efficient jobs. Another thing that Barack Obama said when he was in Vegas, and of course he's playing to the crowd, he said homeowners are in trouble due to no fault of their own. Come on, no fault of their own? Real estate prices in Las Vegas tripled. He talked about the fact that they've fallen 50%, but I think they tripled before that happened. But come on, there were plenty of people in Las Vegas who were taking out mortgages for 100% financing, zero down. There were plenty of people using interest-only mortgages, adjustable rate mortgages. There are plenty of people who have big mortgages because they refinanced, because they constantly cashed equity out of their houses and spent the money on vacations, on new cars, on remodeling. And now they're broke because their houses have lost value, and Barack Obama is saying that it's no fault of their own. First of all, sure, I blame first and foremost the government, right? The government poured the alcohol, but I don't excuse the people who chose to drink it. There are plenty of Americans who didn't lever up. There are plenty of Americans who took out fixed rate mortgages, who didn't take out adjustable rate mortgage. There are plenty of Americans who didn't do refis, who didn't take out home equity loans, who didn't take out second mortgages. So to say that all the people who did those things, who acted so irresponsibly, granted with the government's encouragement, but they did it anyway, certainly they are partially to blame. We can't excuse their culpability. But one of the things that Barack Obama announced while he was in Vegas is he's got this new $1.5 billion plan that he says is to aid homeowners. It's not to aim homeowners. It's to aid home lenders. All the money that is being given to individuals so they can keep paying mortgages that they otherwise would not pay is not a bailout for the borrower. It's a bailout for the lender. And we have to stop bailing out lenders. We have to take the government money away and let borrowers and lenders negotiate between themselves. Maybe what happens is the mortgages are restructured. Maybe the lenders decide that the best thing to do is to reduce the principal and give the homeowner a mortgage that he can afford. Or maybe they foreclose and sell it. Maybe the person who lives in a house that they can't afford, maybe they move out and they rent the house that they can't afford. What's wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. The government has to get out of the way and let the market function. One of the things that Barack Obama said he wants to do with his policies is he wants to not only stabilize home prices, but he wants to get home prices rising again. Why? Why is it the government's policy to make home prices go up? What if they're still too high? What if the market wants them to go down? Why should the government try to force them to go up instead? That is the problem. That's why the country is in so much trouble, because real estate was mispriced, because the prices were too high due to excess government involvement and all that cheap money. What does Barack Obama want to do? He wants to reinflate them with more of the same. Anyway, that's it for today, everybody. Have a great weekend, and I will be back again soon.